Can I ask you to talk a little bit about the first issue that was raised, sort of the breaking through barriers with management? Was that all an issue internally at PBS?
That was not an issue at all at PBS, and I think
Why?
I think it's because of the nature of PBS that they really, I mean, community is so important that if you think about we have 355 public television stations in communities. They're very community oriented. They really want to nurture discussion, dialogue. So, I mean, that's just part of our fabric. But what was a challenge for me, and I think someone else addressed that, was the money resource issue. Because at PBS, you go into meetings and they say, okay, we're going to do this great initiative. We're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And then they say, okay, let's think about what we can do with no money. That's basically how it works. And so that was sort of I faced that a little bit too. I was able to scrounge up a budget, but in terms of resources, people resources was very limited there.
So, I mean, one way to approach solving the management problem, the reason you didn't have one is because you matched up the blog and the concept for the blog. You aligned it basically with what PBS was already pushing for.
Right.
You made sure there was a solid match between overall the principles and what this blog was about. So really, they couldn't. You couldn't get disagreement because there wasn't anything to disagree with.
Yeah, I mean, that's true because social media is a huge strategy of the interactive group at PBS now. And so that was one thing. I looked very carefully at what the key strategies, what the key goals of management were, and then I kind of aligned my strategy to that. And so it's not that I didn't really have to do any convincing, but I certainly had to present my case. But it was very easily bought off on.
Lynn, you mentioned internal conflicts in making this shift to being a more community-based website. Was that coming from management, or was that coming from sort of the worker bee level?
There was a little of both. From management, I mean, digital is its own unit, right? So definitely the magazine, like I said, on their part, where's my magazine? Again, it was just like, this looks like a blog. This is what they said to us. And we're like, yes, that's the point. We want people there, not just, reading an article and running away. We want them there, we want them staying, we want them communicating, we want them, and it's still kind of hard for them to get it. Like sometimes, well, why can't you do this and why can't you just do, because that's not the way we built it. We didn't build it to function like a magazine anymore. That's just not.
Were there steps you took to try to bring them with you, to persuade them?
Yeah, I mean, internally we had a lot of meetings as we were going through our planning stage, because we kept changing our minds. We were at one phase where we had that, like one of these big blocks with the big image that, would like flash shift every day. Like I think they have it on AOL or Yahoo or some of those sites where you could see these are the features of the day. We had that kind of thing. And it just didn't feel like we were fully committing to what we were saying if we had gone that route. It just didn't feel 100% real for what we were trying to do. But as we went through our journey, we met with them, we talked to them, we showed them, we explained, and yes, people can still get to the magazine. And we'll create groups around packages, special packages that the magazine does. And that's another way to keep people talking about a magazine article way after that issue is gone, So it's still work.
Yeah. Did you end up making compromises to bring that group with you?
Have we compromised? No, but we took some of their suggestions to heart, definitely. And there are some things we're going to change a little. We're going to make some shifts in certain places. Like here you have this thing, today's big idea. And the big idea is just like a great provocative idea for the day, business idea. And sometimes those ideas come from magazine articles, or they come from one of the editors of the magazine or one of the writers. And right now, the only kind of links we have there are you can see more big ideas, you can subscribe to the big idea, or you can agree, disagree, or comment. Well, what about a link back to the person who came up with the idea, right? Like, we forgot that. And that would be a really nice feature to have, especially if it was one of the magazine folks who came up with the big idea for us. So just little things like that. We're listening to them. We're trying to incorporate some of their ideas into what we've done.